by ranked UFC welterweight Vicente Luque. Vicente, how's it going?
Hey man, all going good. Camp has been going great, so all good.
Before we start to see those posters back in there, all signed. Is that something you do for every event you're on?
Yeah, I mean every event we got assigned the posters, and I always get one of the posters with everybody's signature back. So I try to frame them. I don't have all of them framed, but I frame some of them that I don't know, like some special ones, and yeah, I like that.
Is that something you do? Because I know some fighters frame their fight shorts for the event. Is that what you do to remember your fights?
Yeah, it's I've done some shorts. I have it in my gym over here in.
And let's get to your fight. Randy Brown, this is the guy you were supposed to fight before. Did you think after you beat Nico Price they'd rebook this one?
After Nico Price, I was definitely looking for somebody in the top 10 or top 15 of the division. But at the same time, a lot of guys were scheduled to fight. Other guys were not looking for a fight right now, and I needed to keep active. That's something I like doing. I like to fight a lot. I feel like the more I fight, the more I evolve every single fight. So Randy Brown made sense. It was a fight that I had scheduled in the beginning of the year. It's a kid, he's up and coming. I think he has 2 wins right now. So it's a fight that makes sense. It adds to me getting a good win over him. I think sets me up to now, get those guys that I want in the top 10. And yeah, it's a fight I like.
You called out Geoff Neal after your last win. I thought that fight made a lot of sense. Did you think that was the fight you were going to get next?
Yeah, I called him and Anthony Pettis. I think are 2 good fights. Pettis would be mostly because of his name, and he has been a champion in the past and comes off a win with Cerrone. But I don't know if he's gonna move down, so it's something that wasn't clear, so we couldn't get that fight. Geoff Neal, I mean, I think it's a great fight. It's a great matchup, me and him. It's something that I'm not sure if it's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. I think it will happen eventually, and I don't know if maybe he wasn't in his time frame to fight right now. So I let people know that's a fight that interests me, and if it happened, it did. It didn't happen, so I think in the future it will. We're both growing. We're both kind of aggressive fighters, great strikers. I think it's gonna happen eventually.
Before we get into your fight, I just got one more question. You obviously lost to Wonder Boy, so how big was that Nico Price win? Just get back in the win column and start get the momentum building again.
I thought it was really important to get this fight in the beginning of the year because after the loss to Thompson, I took some time off, especially to work on everything. Last year I had 4 fights, so I had to fight a lot. I was always in training camp, and I didn't have much time to evolve and to adjust, get some new tools. And that time I took after that loss. So I wanted to see how it was and fight. The fight against Nico Price kind of showed me that. Some other things that I do have to adjust, but I was working on already, and I feel like I'm starting to get better at that. But at the same time, getting a win, getting back on that winning track is always great and gives me a lot of confidence to keep towards the direction I want, that is the top of the division.
You fought on the first card back. You're obviously making a pretty quick turnaround. Is this the time frame you wanted after that Nico Price win?
Yeah, for sure. I let the UFC know I wanted to fight in August. For me, that made the most sense because I could have some good time for me to work on whatever I needed to get better and have a good training camp for my fight. So it worked out good. And especially like for the fight against Nico Price, it was tricky because all the quarantine and all that had just started. So I was still kind of adapting on the ways to train. But now for this fight, I had a great training camp. I have been able to train at my gym. I have been able to have strength and conditioning and everything. So I think it was a perfect timing to fight right now.
Randy Brown, he's always a game opponent. One of those really fun strikers just like yourself. Like, is this a fight that really excites you? Because this could be another fight of the night or a performance of the night bonus for yourself.
Definitely, I think I like watching his fights a lot. I've been watching him way before I was scheduled to fight him. So I think it's gonna be an exciting fight. He's really tall and long. He knows how to box really well. So I think that's a different look that I'm gonna have in the fight. So I'm gonna have to work against that height and put pressure. But that's just natural to me. I'm a pressure fighter. I go forward and look for the fight. So I think it's a really good matchup, especially for the fans, because it's the kind of fight that it's really hard to be a boring fight. We're going to just go out there and try to knock each other out. And I believe that I have the tools to get that win.
That's what I want to touch on. How do you see this fight playing out? Like, do you think you're going to get another stoppage win?
I always think I'm going to get a stoppage because it's just my style. I'm aggressive. I go out there. If I see the opportunity, I will take it. I'm not the kind of guy that I don't know how to hold back. If I see a finish, be it on the ground or on the stand-up, I'm going to look for it. And I think Randy is the kind of guy that is going to come to fight. His last fight, he showed that he wanted to finish the fight. He did finish the fight, so he has been fighting aggressive lately. So I think it's going to be a great fight. If he brings it, it's probably going to, be one of the fight of the nights or maybe a performance of the night for myself. And I think I can get that stoppage.
Randy Brown's obviously not a ranked guy, but where do you think a win over him, and especially a stoppage win, puts you in this division?
Yeah, I think that right now I'm coming off a win, so that's going to be my second win in streaking. So I think it's going to set me up to fight against somebody in the top 10. I'm really close to that top 10. I believe I'm number 12 right now. So it just makes sense for me, getting a good win over Randy. I think that's going to set me up for somebody inside the top 10, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm definitely looking for somebody in there so that I can challenge myself and show everybody what I'm here to do. And I want to get to the top of, top 5 and eventually for the title.
Obviously not looking past Randy, but do you have your eyes on anyone in the welterweight division who you want after Randy, or just not even after, but just sometime in the future?
Right now, like I cannot. I always focus on the fight that is in front of me, so I'm totally focused on Randy. And after that, I'll definitely have some name, somebody to to call out and maybe try to get a fight. But in the future, if I could choose anybody in the division that I really would love to fight, that would be Masvidal. Right now, I think it's a guy that he's at his prime, and our styles are similar. We're both strikers and aggressive. So that's the kind of guy that I would love to face, exactly to test my striking, to test my durability and my will in there. So eventually I think that fight can happen, and I would love it.
That's a fight where you're just like him. Maybe the BMF title would be on the line.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You're obviously, this is the first card back in Vegas since Fight Island. Are you happy with fighting Vegas, or did part of you want to go to Fight Island and just be part of that experience?
Definitely, I wanted to be in Fight Island, but the thing is, I had this time frame. August was the month that made sense for me to fight, so I'm happy fighting in Vegas. I was there for Gilbert's fight when he fought Woodley, and it was really good, well organized. All the weight cut, all the recovery, and fight night. At the Apex, I thought that all of that was really well done. So I'm totally comfortable fighting over there. Definitely Fight Island with all the things that they have going on. It would be awesome to just go there and see how it is, but it was not supposed to be there. So I'm happy where it's going to be, and I think it's going to be a great night.
Smaller octagon too. How do you think that's going to play a factor in the fight?
I think that makes it more exciting because it's we can't run from the fight. When it's a small octagon, we're in each other's face all the time. So for me, I think in a way it's an advantage because I can, especially because Randy's so long, he's going to want to move and work those angles. And I want to get close to him, so I can touch him. So I think that small octagon might help me with that. But at the end of the day, I don't think it matters that much. I think it will help a little bit, but it's not that big of a difference.
You're a guy, you're really active. You fought 4 times last year. If everything goes well on August 1st, are you hoping you get at least one more fight in this year?
Definitely. I mean, my plan for this year was 3 fights. So I think that getting a good win. If I come out 100%, no injuries, nothing, I think I can make another fight this year. I don't know when, but maybe, November, December, that would make sense. But yeah, I want to try for one more.
You're a guy, you always put on exciting fights. Like your Bryan Barberena fight was one of the best fights. Nico Price was an entertaining one. Mike Perry was an entertaining one. When do you think you're going to get that main event spotlight? Because it seems you're slowly climbing the welterweight ranks. You're an exciting guy. Like for you, fighting 5 rounds would be something I think a lot of fans would want to see.
I know, man. I have a lot of desire. I have a lot of will to fight 5 rounds. I think it will suit me really good, especially in fights like Barberena and fights even with Wonder Boy. I would have loved to go other 2 rounds just to see how it would be. I have it in me to fight 5 rounds, so I think eventually it will happen for sure. And I'm working my way up there. I'm getting good wins. I'm putting exciting fights. People now know right now that if I'm going to fight, it will be an exciting fight, so people want to watch it. And I think that's a big thing to get a main event. So I can sell a fight because people want to watch my fight right now. So I think eventually it's going to happen, and I don't think it's going to take too long.
Welterweight division is so stacked. Like you even know how hard it is to fight guys ranked above you. Like it took forever to get that Wonder Boy fight. So how important is this one to win, just to keep that momentum and try to keep building a winning streak to get another ranked guy above you?
Yeah, I mean, it's super important. I think in a division like welterweight, the more active and the more wins you get are going to set you up, to get the best opportunities. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. I keep myself active, so I'm in people's mind all the time. I want people to watch me fight, and I think that helps me. And especially my fighting style, I think that also helps a lot. So, it's hard to be in a division so packed, but at the same time, this kind of challenge motivates me to always push for better fights, to fight as much as I can, and to keep myself in the best shape possible.
And with this division, like you mentioned, is that Thompson fight one you want to get back and have it a main event down the line?
For sure. That's definitely a rematch that I would love to have. Especially, he's a guy that after fighting him, he showed me a whole different game in the striking. So I've always been really proud of my striking, and I feel that I am a striker. So to get in there and, have a good first round, but second and third kind of be dominated by him, he showed me another look of striking. I was like, man, I have so much to learn and to grow in here. And I'm looking for that growth right now. I'm definitely improving a lot. And I do want to face him again so that I can test everything that I'm learning and have a go at him again and get that win.
Gilbert Burns is obviously a close friend of yours, teammate. How disappointing was it for you to see him test positive and not get that title shot?
Man, it was tough because I know that all the work he was putting in, for that fight, not only for that fight, but he has been focused the last year or 2 years, just on getting to the top of the division, having great fights. He had a great fight with Woodley. Right after that, he was going to, not take much of a rest and fight for the title. And he was ready. He was really training well and feeling great. But unfortunately, it wasn't the time. I believe things happen for a reason. So he couldn't get that opportunity right there. But Dana White said he's next in line, and I believe he deserves that. Right after Kamaru, he's the best welterweight at this point. That's why he's number one. So we got to see both of them fight and see who's going to come out with the title. I believe Gilbert can get that title and bring it home. So it's going to be awesome.
Well, that's what I want to touch on is obviously Kamaru Usman's a guy that used to train with you guys at Sanford. You've probably seen Gilbert and Kamaru go out in the gym, just like you've probably trained with sparred with Kamaru. Like, how do you think Gilbert and Kamaru match up? Because to me, that was always a more close fight than Usman Masvidal was going to be.
Yeah, the thing is, I've trained with both of them, so I know how both of them are great. They're great, especially grapplers. They match up really good, but in different styles. So Kamaru has that wrestling, and he dominates everyone with that wrestling. But Gilbert is the kind of guy that if you get him to the ground, he's not just going to stop there. He has a great jiu-jitsu background, so he can fight on his back. He can try to sweep you. He can try to do several different things. So he's not just going to lay there and be dominated, let himself be dominated. So I think that's what he brings for this fight so different, because I don't think he's going to be afraid of Kamaru's wrestling, because he doesn't really care to be on the bottom. If he's on the bottom, he's going to try to submit him. And if he's standing, he's going to try to knock him out every second. So I think that's going to be a really interesting fight. And definitely, I think if anybody doesn't think it makes sense, I think it's a fight that most makes sense because they are so evenly matched. I think it's going to be a great fight for sure.
Would you ever fight Gilbert? Because I know how close you guys are, and obviously you guys are both kind of going up that trajectory of the welterweight division.
Man, that's the kind of fight that could not happen because we're like brothers, So I don't think it's a fight that would happen. And we've talked about it in the sense that eventually one of the two we're gonna get there and get that title. And we kind of joke around, whoever has the title, when we'll hold it till the next one gets there. When the next one gets there, the guy that has the title has to go up or down and look for another title. And I think it's something that makes sense eventually. Hopefully he's gonna hold that title, and when I get there, he can move up or move down, and we'll find a way to work it out. And both of us have titles and have great careers in the UFC.
Just last thing for you is Usman was a staple at Stanford MMA. Do you think once Gilbert and him fight, do you think he'll come back to train there? Do you think he's going to be in Colorado for the rest of his time?
That's a tough question. I don't think nobody has any kind of problem in the sense of bad blood. We all are really professional about it. I let Kamaru know that I was probably going to corner Gilbert for this fight. But at the same time, if he ever needed my help for any other fight after this, I would always be available because we're still good friends. Nothing will change after a fight, at least not on my side. So I think that, Kamaru will feel free, to go back to Sanford and train with everybody. If it's his choice, and at the same time, from what I've seen, he's having a really good time in Colorado. Carrington Banks is a guy that was back in the days with us in The Ultimate Fighter 21. He's over there in Colorado with Kamaru, so I know that he's really enjoying that time. So wherever he feels good, I think it's going to be a good move for him, and there's never going to be bad blood between us because there's too much history back there. We've always helped each other, and it's a different situation right now. It is weird, but it's going to be done. When it's done, we're all good again.
Oh, actually, just one more quick thing. I saw Gilbert tweeted he's COVID negative, so that means he's going to be allowed to corner you. What's that going to be like to have him in your corner? Because there was obviously some speculation that he might not have been able to corner you.
Yeah, we were waiting for that, and it was great to have, the confirmation that he's negative. So he's going to be over there cornering me. And, man, that's always good because I think it's great to have the coaches and, the coaches' insight when they're looking at the fight. They can give us instructions about what we already planned for the fight. But when you have a fighter, a guy that is active at that moment, and we know each other so well, it's a different thing because he knows exactly what to say, and I can do it right away because we know how each other fight. So when I'm cornering him, I'll let him know what he can do with his style. I'm not cornering him as if I were fighting. I know what's his style, what's going to work for him. And same thing when he's cornering me. So it just makes it much easier to get that instruction and use it right away during the fight.
Well, Vicente, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.